Sometimes playing a game the old-fashioned way just isn't enough. Sometimes people find weird and exciting and alternative ways to play just to shake things up. So here are 10 of our favorite examples of people playing games in crazy ways. Starting off with number 10, we've talked about this one in a weird gaming stories of the month video that, we put those out every month. You may not remember, but warning, heads up, this one's really gross. So Twitch streamer Volrat is a speedrunner, and he took one of his runs up to the next level. To celebrate this subscriber milestone he hit, he did a speed run of Super Metroid with the controller covered in Vaseline. I don't know if Vaseline is like the correct word in every country, and you guys watch from around the world, so Vaseline is lubricant, petroleum jelly. It's gross, and I've spent too much time talking about it. Anyway, he did it, and you can see he made some slip-ups here and there with some misfires, and I'm sorry, I did not mean for that to be a pun. But anyway, ultimately, his run was successful, but the pictures, as you can tell, are really damn disgusting. I feel bad for his hands, yeah, sure, but I feel way worse for the controller itself. He even went on record saying he didn't know if it was going to destroy the controller halfway through, but thankfully, it did survive. But still, I asked the question, who would do such a thing? But speaking of people who would do such a thing, next at number 9, we could not make a video like this. This video would not be correct if we did not mention Doom. Hackers and modders and people are famous for putting Doom on everything, like from calculators to classic iPods to everything in between. But what about playing the original Doom with an actual car as the controller? Yeah, that has been done, and it's been done to a Porsche 911. Okay, shout out to YouTube user Vexel for demonstrating this here. He makes it seem relatively simple to get it running on the car's dashboard screen with a flash drive, but really, the big kicker here is how the game itself is actually played. The car acts as a controller quite literally here. If you turn left, the character moves left. If you turn right, the character moves right. You use the gear shifter to cycle through weapons, and you honk the horn to fire, which is really stupid and funny. Oh, but most importantly, I saved the best for last. To move the character forward, to move Doom Guy, you need to accelerate. That sounds like a really fun thing to explain to a police officer, but this guy still is a legend, I gotta say. But next up at number 8, in April 2016, streamer A Twerking Yoshi, who had apparently never played Dark Souls 3 prior, began his first playthrough only using 2 dance pad controllers. The type of things that you get in that big dumb box so you can play DDR at home? Yeah, 2 of those. And it looks intense to say the least. I mean, check him out here. It took 44 hours of playtime and 364 deaths. But in July of that year, he finally managed to defeat the Soul of Cinder on his 3rd try, actually. Respect. Details about the experience, some particularly interesting ones, being the fact that it worked well for the main game's PvE sections, but he went 0 for 5 in PvP encounters, and that playing it that way made it so I lost at least 47 pounds, he said. My legs got tougher, but I lost muscle in my arms. Now that's dedication. It's worth noting that this isn't even the first time he's managed to do something like that. He's actually completed 9 other games using dance pads, from like Kingdom Hearts 2 to Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which is insane. We don't really have anything more to say other than, damn, dude. Next up at number 7, From Software obviously doesn't mess around as far as game difficulty and control schemes go. You can talk to anyone who's played Dark Souls like we mentioned before, or Bloodborne, or Sekiro. That lineage though, it doesn't necessarily start with Dark Souls. I mean, look at this picture. This was initially posted as a way to play Armored Core, one of their earlier games, and a lot of people took it as a joke at first, like why would anyone do that if they didn't have to? Some took it as like a tongue-in-cheek kind of goof, calling attention to just how complex the controls were in the series. But I mean, man, to be honest, the reverse claw style is probably pretty effective. It actually works. I mean, look at this. This has gone on to become known by many in Japan as AC Mochi. Sorry for my pronunciation. That's simply translated to English to AC style, or Armored Core style. As you can see here, you can apparently pull off commands in a fairly efficient manner. So joke's on us, I guess. You really do need all the fingers to play this game, and it seems to work. It would be really cool if they brought back Armored Core, I will say that. That's just totally unrelated, but maybe do that, guys. That would be cool. Anyway, next at number 6, let's touch on something that's a little different for this video. Check out this Japan-only arcade game called Boonga Boonga, also known as Spankum. Right from the get-go, this is a strange one. I mean, look at this. Look at this arcade machine. It's a stand-up arcade cabinet that has legs and a denim jeans-wearing butt just sticking out. And that butt is Yeah, the controller. Boonga Boonga is based on Kancho, which is a very, very popular prank game, whatever you want to call it in Japan, which is basically like when you put your two hands together in a pointing fist and just ram your friend up the butt with it. That's a fun, friendly game that kids in Japan play. I don't know. You can also just straight up spank the butt controller. The object of the game is to score points by either spanking or poking that big old butt controller using your hands or the accompanying pasting finger that is part of the cabinet. You can pick one of 8 different characters to mess with and terrorize, which is interesting, and you play, the character's face and reactions are displayed on the cabinet's screen, so you can see them reacting to what you do with them. Oh, and if you do really, really well, the cabinet actually rewards you by dispensing a little plastic pile of poop. So, yeah, that's a thing. Every culture is different, and this is certainly an example of that. Next, over at number 5, Twitch streamer Rudism has a reputation for playing games with unconventional input methods, but especially notable is how he's seen playing Overwatch with character-specific controls. So, for example, he played as Winston with bananas, because Winston's a monkey, Diva using joysticks, or possibly the coolest one we want to talk about, Hanzo with a Nerf bow controller. Now, this is a controller he made. Like, this isn't a pre-built, ready-to-go controller. He had to rig up a Nerf bow, which is like a toy, with proper mechanics to actually function as a PC input device, while also using a dance pad to control the general non-aiming focused movements in the game. And, of course, because people are badass, he's actually pretty good with it. I mean, look at this. He's just able to whip around and just wreck other players online with a DDR mat and a Nerf bow alone, which is very impressive. Props to him for that. This guy's a champ. Because over at number 4, here's another cool Dark Souls one. Reddit user GMABT beat the first Dark Souls using only a Rock Band guitar controller. You've probably heard of this one. This is like the stuff of legend now. This guy took to Reddit to show off his accomplishment as well as just share all the juicy details on how they did it and provided some really cool insight into the whole process. For example, the controller had to be mapped to a proper input device on PC with X360 CE, and it only has 3 analog inputs. Additionally, the whammy bar is the only axis with full range and was used to control forward and backward movement. You can also check out the Reddit thread linked here for the details if you're into that type of thing and going deep, but he also streamed the whole thing on Twitch, and that's there as well. He ended his post by saying that his next plan was to take on all of the Dark Souls 2 bosses in the same manner, and yeah, good luck, man. But now, coming down to it, at number 3, this is actually some clever use of a really limited budget. USB steering wheel peripherals are expensive, man. So this guy, Itchin on Reddit, made his own with what he had, and you know what? We want to commend him for this. It looks like he clamped a computer mouse facing towards him to test it, to hold it completely stationary, and then directly underneath it, it looks like he placed a swiveling bar stool or some sort of flat, round, swiveling platform, and boom, he has a truck driver steering wheel. Yeah, it's not perfect. You can't really spin it all the way around. Probably should have mounted it underneath. But still, I also wish in this clip he demonstrated actually driving with acceleration and not just steering in place. But still, it's a test, and I'll take what I can get. Points for creativity here. This looks cool. He wanted it. He wanted the thing then and there and didn't want to buy a steering wheel. Plus, 18-wheeler truck-style steering wheel peripherals aren't really in huge demand, so the quick, simple innovation is actually kind of awesome here. That's some good DIY stuff if I've ever seen it. But moving on to number 2, how about playing Skyrim on a potato? Because yeah, someone did that. Shout out to YouTube and Steam forum user Boom LLC Robotator for cobbling this together and also leaving behind detailed instructions on how to do it yourself. What a nice guy. Essentially, he took the old science fair project of using a potato as a battery or for an alarm clock or something, but with a bit more technical know-how to get it running through multiple chunks of potato. He used 3 potatoes sliced into a bunch of pieces, and each one serves as an input. You need a little electronic know-how for this. He did use a makey circuit board kit off Amazon. You wire it up and yeah, looks like it works. He was able to do all the inputs and conquered a new dumb way to awkwardly play Skyrim. Honestly, I just think the guy was so preoccupied with whether or not he could that he didn't stop to think if he should. You know what I'm saying? But hey, finally at number 1, let's talk about Bloodsport. I love this thing. This is the blood draining video game controller. This is a system that hooks your vein up to a blood collecting machine that is tied in with your controller's rumble motors. So Bloodsport senses a rumble and, presumably the player taking a hit in a game, and it starts to draw out some of your blood. Now, just to kind of put a damper on things, it was intended to factor in your age, your size, your health, and your blood type, so it wouldn't actually kill you or make you really pass out or anything, but still, this is wild. This was a Kickstarter project by 2 Canadian entrepreneurs, and the actual wholesome idea behind this was to use it as a blood drive gimmick. The plan was to go on tour and let you experience having a video game take your blood, and it would help blood supplies for hospitals and stuff. Now, they were looking to raise almost $200,000 and only got about $2,500 before Kickstarter came in and suspended their campaign. Now, Kickstarter didn't publicly announce why, but you can assume it it's dangerous. It violates the terms of service or whatever. But hey, it's just a little blood. What's the big deal, guys? But again, seriously, don't try this at home. If you do, I would watch, but I'm saying don't try this at home. These are some examples of people playing games in crazy ways, and there are tons more out there, so we want to hear from you guys in the comments. Have you tried any examples similar to this? Have you come up with anything else on your own? We can make a whole other video just focusing around the disabled community who are finding very interesting ways to play games. Maybe we'll talk about that more in the future, but we want to hear from you guys in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and maybe learned something, clicking the like button is the best way you can help us out. We really appreciate that. And if you're new, consider subscribing and hitting that notification button, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.